If you are a musician who wants to make it to your next level of playing, but you're not quite sure how to get there, then this video is for you. What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Paddock, and if you are a regular on my YouTube channel, you can see that I am in a different place. I am recording this video from Playa del Carmen, Mexico. So you will see a couple different backdrops over the next couple weeks because I'll be here for a little bit. If you are new to my channel, then make sure that you hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up and click the bell for notifications. One of the things that come up in my email all of the time are questions about how to make it to the next level. So I thought I would do a video today describing that process, and the process is actually a whole lot easier and a whole lot faster than you would think. So the next level is this term that everyone uses, students and teachers like myself, that just describes how to get better at your instrument, in my case, the saxophone. So what we're talking about when it comes to the next level oftentimes are large goals. So a next level might be learning all your major scales or mastering your altissimo, learning how to improvise, getting your technique faster and cleaner. They're usually really large, measurable goals that you're trying to accomplish. But the secret to making it to the next level is the way you get there is actually in really small incremental improvements. I use this concept of teaching in my saxophone school, and I call it a step-by-step approach to learning the saxophone. So what I mean is, with a step-by-step approach to accomplishing your goals or making it to the next level, you should be doing really small incremental improvements on what your current playing ability is. So when you start attacking your practice sessions like this, you are going to see really big improvements really quickly because you're taking small steps, but they're really easy bite-sized steps that you can accomplish with no problem and keep building a strong base. So one of the biggest problems that people make when they try to get to the next level is they try to do it all at once. So if the next level is learning all of your major scales, they just start practicing all of the major scales. That sounds like a good idea, but it's actually a very bad idea. It's going to take you way longer and be way harder, and you're going to make a whole lot more mistakes. So a step-by-step approach to learning your major scales would be starting off with the four easy ones, which are F, C, G, and D, and then constantly adding in a new scale. So once you have those four down, then you would add in A. Once you have A down really well, then you would add in F, the first octave of F. Then when you have that first octave of F down, then you'll add the second octave, which goes up into the palm keys on the saxophone, which is much harder. And as you're working on that, then you would add the E scale. You would do the E scale one octave, and then once you get that first octave down, the easier one, you would add the second octave. And as you're doing that, you start working on the first octave of the B flat scale. So when you start practicing like this, you're going to see big improvements on a regular basis because you are taking bite-sized portions of the material that you're trying to learn. So essentially, every day you're making it to a new next level. Then, of course, after about 3 or 4 months of using this type of practice for your scales, you're going to know all of your major scales and you're going to be able to play them pretty clean and have them down with no problems at all because you built a really strong foundation as you were learning them. So the way to make it to the next level is not through trying to accomplish gigantic goals all at once. It's taking small, measurable steps that help get you towards the ultimate goal. So if your goal is to get your technique cleaner, then you would start off with whatever keys are appropriate for your playing level. Maybe you start off working on 4 or 5 keys and you do it at 80 beats per minute. Once that gets easy, then you bump up the tempo to 100 beats per minute, and then you add in a harder key. When that gets easier, you bump up the tempo to 115 and you add in some more harder keys, and then 120 and more harder keys, and eventually, after a couple weeks or months of practicing like this, you're going to be able to play a lot faster and a lot cleaner. And it's just going to be a natural progression because you are using a small incremental practice strategy where you're constantly building and strengthening your foundation. Again, this learning approach can be applied to anything. I do it with ad-libbing, I do it with jazz style, I do it with improvisation. So jazz style, for example, when I teach jazz style, we start off with swing eighth notes and then I teach one unwritten rule of articulation. You get that down, and then I add in a second rule. So then you have 2 rules, but you've got the first one down really well because we spent a while on that rule. Then we add in the second rule of jazz articulation, and then you get that down really well, and then I add in the third. As you're getting the third rule down, you're also still practicing the first and second, so you're just constantly building that foundation and constantly making forward progress or leveling up or making it to the next level. Now, you should have big goals, which will be a definite signal that you have made it to another level of playing. For example, knowing all of your major scales or being able to improvise over a 2-5-1. Just things that are like, okay, this has put me into the next level of saxophone playing. Those goals are very important to have, and that is going to set up your step-by-step approach to constantly leveling up every time you practice, or maybe not every time, but definitely on a weekly basis. You should be able to see what you're doing at a higher level than you were doing the week before. Leave me a comment below with the current musical goal that you are working on and what steps you are taking to accomplish it. Now, here's the one bad thing as a musician about trying to get to that next level. Usually before you get there, you've already set your sights on the level after that. So you're never actually gonna accomplish being where you want to be, because as you get better, especially if you're doing it in small incremental steps, you're gonna be constantly thinking about the next thing and the next thing. So if your goal is to learn all of your major scales, by the time you learn all your major scales, you're gonna be thinking about your Mixolydian scales or your minor scales. So it's a constant thing, and it never ends no matter how good you get. It's a constant thing where you're always trying to figure out that next level of playing and how to get there. So the easiest way to make it to the next level is by using a step-by-step process where you're going to be seeing daily and weekly improvement, which means you will be leveling up on a constant basis. If you use this approach, you're going to see way faster improvement, and practicing is going to be a whole lot more fun. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. If you'd like to dive deeper into my saxophone world, please check out the Scott Paddock Sax School.